the closing of divine intervention. Remember in part 3, I was kidnapped by the second most dangerous gang drug leader in the city. And the next week, I was shot at 100 times close range by the most dangerous drug gang leader in the city. A few weeks after that, the gang leader who kidnapped me was kidnapped by the gang leader who shot at me. During that process, the gang leader who kidnapped me killed the gang leader who shot at me. Shortly after, them two organizations were shut down. And when I left the Green Berets, I also left my gang. And it was no problem because me and the other leader and the enforcers all left were like brothers. We were like family. So it wasn't none of that, oh, you lead a gang, you get beat up or beat in or beat out. It was none of that. It was my two brothers blessed me for leaving to better myself and continue my journey. And shortly after I left the Green Berets, they shut down. Poindexter robbed a woman who was walking into the police station. He snatched her purse at the police station. Somebody ran him down and he went to jail. That lady happened to be my auntie. When I went over her house, she said, one of your boys robbed me. I said, what boy? She said, the one with the red hat like you. That tall, skinny, dangerous looking boy. I say, Poindexter? She said, yeah, he the one. He the one. He snatched my purse right when I was walking into the police station. I said, damn. But when Poindexter got locked up, he was the only leader who stayed at the headquarters where all the soldiers slept at. You know, most of these soldiers, they had nowhere to stay, so they stayed at the headquarters, at least 30 of them. Me and Sam were never at the headquarters like Poindexter. You know, I go to the headquarters to teach my karate class, you know, to learn the soldiers karate. And that's the only time I go there, to have a meeting with Sam and Poindexter. But Sam had something else going on. He couldn't stay at the headquarters, and I had them quit. Which I was going to stay at them headquarters anyway, you know. That was kind of dangerous to me, you know. I'm putting other people in danger because every gang had a hit out on my life, according to the couple of sheriffs I talked to and policemen. But who warned me that every gang had a hit out on my life, you know. But I was basically the enforcer and leader with the Green Beret. You know, I was trying to catch a bullet because the pressure of racism in the golfing industry was too much for me. You know, people would say, well, he was in the claim, he was the property of the claim. That racism at the highest level. No, that's not racism at the highest level. The claim is not racism at the highest level. A racist industry, which is a lot of them, that racism at the highest level. Because they working you to death, they treating you like shit, and just looking at you laughing and smiling every day. Now, the most dangerous racism I've seen so far is the medical industry. They can do anything they want to you. They experts at putting people to sleep and making it look natural, heart attack or stroke. And they do it in the open. They don't hide it. And there's nothing you can do, especially when you're sick. If you ain't got no team around you, man, you ain't got nothing. You know, like when I went through that process when I was caught in the medical well for 4 or 5 years because of a simple toe infection, where they delayed. Something home with gangrene for 7 months, no antibiotic or no painkiller. That's how crude and ruthless they are. They're ruthless. And y'all will see and find out in the faraway future. The most dangerous gang in America is not the police or law enforcement. Nobody kill more people than the medical industry. Nobody monitoring them. Nobody looking at them. Doctors have no bosses. Not like we have. They have no bosses checking in back of them. They have no bosses watching them or supervisors. Like Ted Bundy told me, all the psycho killers, serial killers, race soldiers, and killers all have learned that the medical industry is the place to be because you can kill thousands and thousands and thousands a year, hundreds of thousands, millions nationwide, and nobody look twice. Nobody monitoring them. But anyway, I saw Pondexter after he got out of jail, and I was kind of mad. And I said, man, you know that lady who purse you snatched? Said, no, man. So that was my auntie, dog. You say, hey, man, hey, you want to hit me, I understand, bro. But remember, we brothers, my nigga. Remember that. If I know that was your auntie, you know that I wouldn't have did that, bro. But after you left the Green Berets, bro, I had no more income because you were breaking me off something every time you made a lick. So it's partly your fault too, my nigga. When I say, well, since you put it that way, dog, I accept your apology, and I tell my auntie you was sorry. And he said, you sure you don't want to come back? I said, man, that's over with, dog. They shut that motherfucker down. She said, I was thinking about me, you can start it back up again. I don't know, man. I'm finished with that, man. No, man. I say, when the universe sends you a message, it's up to you to listen with free will. I was kidnapped 1 week, shot at 100 times the next week. That the universe telling me to get out, bro. Come see me sometime, bro. We hug each other, shook hands. A few years later, I think, they say my boy went to prison and died When I found that out, I was tore up for a couple of months, I couldn't imagine my mentor, best friends in the martial arts were gone. If they make a movie, remember, he looked exactly like O.G. Percy. Because since the government say gonna be all kind of movies and shows about me in the faraway future, I try to relate to what people look like. And he looked just like O.C. Percy. Matter of fact, when I first seen O.C. Percy, O.G. Percy online, I almost had a heart attack. And I listened to him talk, and he sounded just like Poindexter too. So I had to keep looking at him a while to realize, no, that ain't Poindexter. But that's exactly who he looked like. And that's the end of Divine Intervention. I hope y'all enjoyed. Thank you, and God bless.